If you think you know everything there is to know about the ship that was once thought to be practically unsinkable, then you need to watch this video completely. Because in this video, I'm going to share some incredible facts that you might have never heard before. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. There was a secret cargo on board. One of the lesser-known things about the Titanic is that there was a secret cargo on board. It is said that the Titanic was carrying a mysterious and undisclosed cargo that was to be part of an exhibition in New York City. The secret cargo was an ancient Egyptian statue that has remained a mystery to this day. In addition to this mysterious artifact, the Titanic also carried valuable jewels and other treasures that were meant to impress the visitors at the exhibition. The true nature of this mysterious cargo has been the subject of much speculation and debate among historians and enthusiasts. Unfortunately, the Titanic's sinking tragically ended the voyage, and the mystery of this mysterious shipment was lost to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean forever. To this day, the identity and purpose of this Egyptian statue and the precious jewels remain a mystery, which adds to the enigma surrounding the Titanic's final journey. Titanic had a post office in decks F and G. Amidst all the luxury and grandeur, there was one less known but just as important feature on the Titanic: a fully functioning post office. The post office was located on the ship's lower decks, particularly in F and G. It played an important role in sorting and processing the thousands of letters and parcels that were exchanged during the voyage. The Titanic's post office handled approximately 400 letters and parcels intended for various U.S. and foreign destinations. Postal officials on board sorted and processed these letters, making sure they would reach their intended recipients when they arrived in New York. Unfortunately, along with the ship's valuable cargo, the Titanic's post office was destroyed when the ship went down. The fourth funnel is fake and for decoration only. Titanic's iconic design had 4 prominent funnels that added to the ship's majestic appearance. But what many people don't know is that only 3 of these funnels were actually functional. The fourth, while adding to the ship's aesthetic symmetry, wasn't connected to the ship's ventilation system and didn't serve any practical purpose. This fake funnel was added mainly for architectural balance and to give the illusion of increased power and speed. The fourth funnel had various pipes and vents, but it didn't serve as the smokestack that the other funnels did. This funnel was a smart and deliberate design choice for the Titanic's facade, and it's one of the many fascinating aspects of the ship's engineering and construction. The owner never claimed the Titanic was unsinkable. Contrary to what many people think, the Titanic was never unsinkable by its owner, J. Bruce Ismay. In fact, Ismay never claimed that the ship was unsinkable at all. Instead, the idea of unsinkability was mainly a media myth and a perception created by White Star Line, which is the shipping company that owned and operated the Titanic and their promotional materials. Ismay never said anything about the unsinkability of the ship, and he faced public criticism for his actions in the wake of the ship's sinking. The idea that the Titanic was invulnerable was more likely a marketing ploy to increase passenger confidence and excitement about the luxurious amenities on board, as well as the ship's advanced safety features at sea. Unfortunately, that perception crumbled on the night of the Titanic's sinking, forever altering maritime history. A closer ship could have come to the Titanic's rescue. When the Titanic began to sink, she sent out distress calls for help from ships nearby. The closest ship at the time was the Californian. However, the Californian did not answer the distress call until it was almost too late to save the Titanic. In the early morning hours of April 15, 1912, several crew members aboard the Californian saw strange lights in the sky. It turned out that these lights were distress flares sent by the Titanic. The crew members woke the captain to report this mysterious activity, but the captain did not give them any orders in response. The wireless operator on board the Californian went to sleep, and as a result, no other distress call from the Titanic was received until the next morning. By this time, another ship, Carpathia, had come to the rescue of the Titanic. The ship had already sunk. If the Californian had responded to the distress call from Titanic, it is believed that the lifeboats would have been enough to ferry everyone to safety. The wreck of the Titanic was only discovered in the last 50 years. A lot of what we know about Titanic and what happened during the final hours of the ship's life is derived from exploring the ship's remains. The Titanic's wreck is located 3,700 meters beneath the Atlantic Ocean's surface, which is, to put it another way, very deep. Because of this, the Titanic's wreck went undetected for 73 years. In 1985, the wreck was first discovered. At this point, divers confirmed the ship had broken in two as it went down. The ship's remains were found to be in two parts of the ocean. One part was the ship's bow, and about 1/3 of a mile from the bow, divers found the ship's stern. These were the two biggest pieces of the Titanic's wreck, but fragments of the ship's wreck were found all over an area of approximately 15 square miles. A large part of the Titanic remains undiscovered, as it is not accessible by underwater vehicles. The Titanic was built in Ireland and had two sister ships. Less well known is that the Titanic was built in the Irish port of Belfast. Construction on the liner began in March of 1909, and the skilled Irish workforce worked for about 2 years to craft the magnificent vessel that would embark on its maiden voyage. Along with the Titanic, this shipyard also built two other Olympic-class ocean liners, HMS Olympic and HMS Britannic. The Titanic may be the most well-known of the three because of her tragic sinking, but the other two Olympic-class ships also had their own histories. Olympic liners represented luxury and engineering at their peak, and each one had its own unique place in maritime history. Lives were lost on the Titanic before it ever set sail. Although it may not sound like it, the process of building a ship was extremely dangerous at the time. Many injuries occurred on the ship's building site, and even some fatalities occurred. The Titanic took 3 years to be built at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast. How many people lost their lives during the building of the Titanic? Nobody knows the exact number. Some reports say only 2 workers died, and others say 8. In the second year of Titanic construction, 28 serious accidents were recorded, and 218 minor accidents were recorded. These statistics may seem insane to us now, but they were surprisingly low for the time. According to historians, for such a large and expensive ship, the death toll would normally have been closer to 15. A lifeboat drill was planned for the day the Titanic sank, but it was canceled. On the day of the Titanic's sinking, there was supposed to be a lifeboat drill. The purpose of the drill was to educate passengers and crew on emergency evacuation procedures in the event of a crisis. However, Captain Edward Smith canceled the drill for reasons that are still unclear to this day. Some people believe that he wanted to reassure passengers that the Titanic was unsinkable. Others believe that the cancellation was due to time constraints or a change in passengers' schedules. Regardless of the reasons, the lifeboat drill turned out to be a huge missed opportunity. Lack of proper training caused chaos and confusion during the evacuation, resulting in a higher death rate during the disaster. The Titanic was a massive polluter, burning 600 tons of coal per day. As the largest ship afloat at the time, the Titanic is probably the most polluted ship of its time. The only power source available at the time was steam power, which produced more than 40,000 horsepower to move the ship across the water. We definitely cannot call it a green Titanic, since the ship used over 600 tons of coal every day when it was floating. The furnaces used to power the ship's steam engines required over 170 workers working 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. There were 150 furnaces, heating almost 30 boilers to produce the steam needed to power the Titanic's engines. 100 tons of ash were dumped into the sea every day. It was non-stop, round-the-clock work since the furnaces burned coal all the time to keep the ship moving. Before we wrap up, if you would like to learn more about the Dick ship and its sinking, check out the links in the description. Thank you for watching the video, and if you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.